Hey guys, it's Cameron again, and I'm back to do a review for The Magic of Finkleton by Casey Hilton, as well as its sequel, Return to Finkleton. Both of these books are self-published middle-grade fantasy novels, and they're a couple of the best self-published books I have read so far. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and read the synopsis for the first book in the series, The Magic of Finkleton. Most folks say Mother Nature controls the rain. However, this is not the case in the village of Finkleton. In the perfect little village of Finkleton, the weather is always perfect. Every farm grows the best, biggest, healthiest crops in the world, and everyone is happy. Soon after the Finkles inherit their Uncle Harry's shop and move to Finkleton, they discover magical secrets hidden in his shop. One clue at a time, Jack, Lizzie, and Robert learn the town's amazing secret. No, Mother Nature is not in charge in Finkleton. Ever since Uncle Harry's death, the weather has not been cooperating. Farms are starting to fail. Will the Finkle children be able to solve all the magical mysteries before the village is destroyed? Now, I've always been a fan of middle grade novels. In fact, the book that I'm writing right now is in fact a middle grade book. But it's been a while since I've actually gotten around to reading a middle grade book such as this, and I really enjoyed it. I love this book a lot. I thought it was great. It really took me back to the days of reading books like the Magic Treehouse series and the Spiderwick Chronicles. This book is aimed at slightly younger readers in the middle grade range, such as maybe ages 7 to 10, I would say. So it is more for like early readers. However, there are some things in the book that might be a bit difficult for some younger kids to read. However, I don't think that would be an issue if the parent were to read this book to their kids. I think the kids would really enjoy it, and I think the parents would get a big kick out of it too. The plot was very original and very interesting, and I really enjoyed it. The characters are also really great. All three siblings, Robert, Jack, and Lizzie, they all learn a lot of things about being honest and keeping your word, and all those regular things that kids gotta learn when they're kids. So this book really teaches some of those lessons and can really instill those thoughts into kids. I also like the writing style. I think it's kind of told like a bedtime story. It really kind of just tells the story as it is instead of immersing you in it a whole lot. For me, being an older reader, that can be maybe not as interesting, but for children it would definitely still be very effective. So overall, I really love this book. I gave it 4 stars out of 5. I also have a written review of this up on Goodreads, so I will link that down in the description bar if you want to read a more in-depth summary of the book and a few more of my thoughts on it. Next, I'll be reviewing Return to Finkleton, also by Casey Hilton. I'm not going to read the summary because if you haven't read the first book, there's a few things that the summary on this book may spoil for you. So I'm just going to go ahead and tell you what I thought about it. The sequel is aimed at slightly older kids than the first book was aimed at. A good age range, I think, would be ages 9 to 12, but I think the younger kids are going to enjoy this just as much. I really loved this one. This one was amazing. I loved it even more than the first one. Just like the first book, the plot is really interesting and picks up a couple years where the last book left off. So the Finkel children are a bit older now, a bit wiser, and they know a few more of the secrets of their Uncle Harry's shop. So now they're using those secrets to their advantage, but naturally things go wrong. And I think this book definitely included some more dire situations for the children. The problems that the characters are put through are just a bit bigger. So overall, this book has a lot more suspense and a lot more action and excitement. The characters were great, just as in the first book, only like I said, now they're a bit older. Instead of learning the regular things that kids learn, they're learning more about growing up and having these responsibilities and learning how to deal with your mistakes, no matter how big they may be. Again, the writing style was great in this book, only it was slightly different in the way that I felt far more immersed in the story than I did in the first book. I felt like I was actually part of the story and I was really caring about what was going on and what was happening to these characters. And the writing style definitely played a big part in that, considering I felt so immersed. So I gave this book a 5 out of 5 on Goodreads. I really loved it. I just thought it was a great piece of middle grade fiction, and it really brought me back to those days of reading the Spiderwick Chronicles. If you read the first book and you didn't feel there was enough excitement or enough action for whatever whatever reason, continue reading on with this book because it definitely delivers in that aspect. Casey Hilton is a great author, and she's a very nice lady as well, so I really recommend you guys go and check out her books and show your support, especially if you have younger kids, because I think they're really going to like this as well. Oh, and also I do have another written review on my Goodreads account for this book, so if you want to see that, I will link that down below with my review of the first book. So that is my review for The Magic of Finkleton and Return to Finkleton. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, bye!